So this is going to have my disclaimer attached to it. A warning for everyone. If you have kids in the room, cover their ears. If you have a sensitive mind, turn away. Because we're going here. Okay, so I'm not going to actually play this guy's video. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out little points of some of the morons that he found on Twitter and other places. I think it's mostly Twitter. Yeah, that's Twitter. So, I'm a console gamer. In fact, if you look very carefully over my shoulder, there's an Xbox Series X, and over my other shoulder is a Nintendo Switch. I have my chair actually set up as a gaming and recording station entirely. I don't have a desk. My chair is my desk. But that's not my point. My point is that I am a console gamer as well as a PC gamer as well as a mobile gamer. In fact, I don't categorize myself. I am a gamer, period. Now, this guy brought up some really, really good points in this video. I encourage you to go take a look at his stuff. So not to disparage anyone from the disabled community or anything related to it, but some of the people that he came up here remind me of the same retarded little faggots that I used to have to deal with back in like 2000, what was it, 2008, 2009? Back when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 came out, who used to scream in their microphone that they're better than everyone else because they can run around a map with a shotgun, and yet, you know, the average guy who knows how to play the game can take him out with an AR pretty quickly. You know, like, these are the kind of morons that make me think of that, right? Like, I'm gonna run around a map with a knife and get shotgunned in the face, or I'm gonna run around with two P90s and then get randomly sniped. You know, it's that kind of idiocy, you know? So here's my issue with this. The console wars. And this is why I use the R word and the F word the way that I did, because at this point it has hit the point, and I'm sorry YouTube, I know this breaks some guidelines, but this particular issue has hit the peak negative imagery of retarded faggotry that you can hit. Okay? And I know this is probably going to get me banned on YouTube for just saying that, but we've kind of hit that point of special levels of stupid that these people are messed up in the head to the point where I think they might actually have a legitimate mental disability. In fact, I know they do. It's called sheepism. Outright, they're just sheep. They do what they're told, and they have no thoughts of their own. They literally just do what the console market tells them to do. And by the way, there is a PC version of this that does exist in an extreme minority. And by the way, these are not all console gamers. I'm just here to kind of make that point. Asmund made the point as well, but I'm going to reiterate it. And just for everyone's fucking clarification here, this group of Twitter talking heads that decided they wanted to get on Twitter and run their sucks about, you know, PlayStation and all this other stupid shit, they're in the minority. Less than 10%. I can about guarantee you less than 10% of console gamers overall even fucking care about this shit. Okay? Because they don't. But, and let me explain to you why. Okay? This is the dumbest thing you'll ever see or read. And I'm not talking about this guy's video. He actually does have some pretty good points in this video, and I recommend that you go watch it. It's Joe from Seattle. I'll shout out the video by putting it in the description of the stream because, you know, it's the right thing to do. Just give me a second. I have to, you know. I have to do a whole process to make that happen. So, yeah, here is the problem I have with this particular topic, okay? It is not the topic itself. There's nothing wrong with the topic itself. The problem is with console wars, right? They're dead. They're done. They are done. Stop it. Stop it. We're all gamers, okay? Knock it the fuck off, okay? Enough. Quit being a bunch of... I shouldn't use this word. Quit being a bunch of... mine is better than your... You know, mine is bigger than your morons out there. You know, stop being stupid. There is no excuse for this kind of behavior at this point. I didn't know if that was a capital F or not, my dude. Ah, there he is. I didn't even have to type it. Yeah, link in the description for this guy's video. Go watch it. He's got some really good points. Even though he does get pretty mad. He's mad for a good reason, and he's mad for actually the same reason I'm mad. Okay? In fact, we're both actually mad for the same reason, even if we don't agree necessarily 100% on everything, right? It's... Number one, most of the people that he pulled up, like, let's see if I can find it here. If, you know, YouTube will. You want to bring up this on concurrent users. Okay? Does PlayStation even post concurrent users? Learn how to spell something. Okay. Do they even post it? Scrolling. Only for individual games. They don't actually post off. Or do they? Yeah, as of October. For the whole month. That's not a screenshot of a day, that's a screenshot of a month. I want daily. I want a day. One day. One day. That's it. Okay. Well, seems as I can't get a day from them, or can I? There's no way to adjust there's no way to adjust it. This is for a whole month. Okay. Alright. 116. Let's see. That's for October 2004. How many days were in October? $31. Alright. Where's my calculator? And this is just a rough estimate because there is obviously going to be some issues with, you know, some days having more than others and less than others, etc. So this is not going to be 100% accurate. But if you're looking for a daily estimate, 3 million versus about 40 or 39, my bad. Steam alone, without going off on a tangent of, you know, other platforms on the PC like Xbox, Origin, EA, etc., 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 or Warcraft, pick a thing, right? Without going into standalones, um, Steam alone gets 10 times the amount of PlayStation does. Whoever made, and it's going to take it a minute, whoever made this comment here is a moron, because you're talking about units sold versus concurrent views. That's not how you do that. Number one, okay, 40 million versus 118 million. Yeah, and how many people own a PC? Let's ask that. How many people own a computer? Oh, learn to friggin' spell, dummy. Brainless typing again. Computer and internet use in the United States alone. Okay. Okay. Smartphone, 90%. Laptops, 81%. Tablets, 64%. I use all three! Congratulations! And when you add video game consoles into that little category, then yeah. Okay. So we'll just go off of the desktop and laptop thing alone. Okay. We'll see, just double check and make sure that, it's 81%. Okay. We're already in the U.S. Census. Data and maps. I would like it if they had a 2024 census, but they don't. Go to data. Let's see here. Oh. Okay, let's see if we can. I'm probably just going to have to go back to Google. Or DuckDuckGo, my bad. Yeah, we'll just DuckDuckGo it. Okay, 81%. I can't believe I'm doing this crap. Again. I mean, it's my first time doing it, on a stream, but... Alright, population of the United States is approximately 345 billion, million, not billion. I'm dumb for that. There are 2 commas, that's million. Okay. So we'll go with this figure here as it's the estimate for the mid-year at about... Oh, hang on. Nope, we'll go with a more updated figure. Right here. Copy. And let's see if I can do basic math on the calculator. This is probably going to be embarrassing. Okay. So we got... We'll just stick with even numbers. 347 million... minus 81%. So according to this, 281 million people in the United States own a laptop or a computer. Okay? And that's just the United States. That's not even going worldwide. So... I mean, yeah. This is the most retarded thing I've ever read. Like, you're talking to the guy, and I mean the R word to mean dumb, mindless, brainless, sheeple thing I've ever read. You're talking about 40 million worldwide, and yet PC ownership in the United States alone is still higher than PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 3's numbers. Speaking of that, why are you still talking about the PS4 and PS3? Why aren't you talking about their new flagship, the PS5 and the PS5 Pro? Where are those figures? Oh, did they slump? Maybe. Maybe. But you're going to sit here and talk to me and this poor Joe from Seattle dude about numbers that only barely scratch the 200 million surface over concurrent players on Steam. You're mentally... You have no brain. You have no brain. You're not only trying to compare apples to oranges, you're trying to do it in a way that compares both of them to a spaceship. They're not the same thing at all. Okay, moving on, because I feel like we've spent enough time on this particular... This guy actually shows up more than once in this video too, by the way. If it'll, again, it'll load. Okay, I'm gonna stop this guy right here. PC gaming isn't dead, but it is the least contributor of the whole gaming industry. That is the dumbest take I've ever heard. 99.9% of video game development happens on a PC. He realizes this, right? Like, all the components in a system, Asman brought this up as well, in a console are basically computer components. He realizes this, right? Like, I could hack an Xbox One to function as a lower quality desktop PC. The reason that they function as a gaming PC is because they have been specifically stripped down of all the usual bloatware subjects, issues that a PC has, and they've been narrowed down to the focus of being specifically for gaming, and in the case of the Xbox, recording and also internet search. They don't have stuff like Microsoft Office. They should, but they don't. Okay? Because I feel like this would actually be a worthwhile investment if... And the sad part about that is that Microsoft totally could too. It's just a really stupid take from someone who's not paying attention. And you're right, it is deceptive, because that's just concurrent users. That's not people who've owned a PC in the last 10 years or 20 years. Which, if you wanted to go with those numbers, we could totally do that. We could go do the total sales numbers of PCs versus gaming consoles. I guarantee you that number would not disappoint any PC fanboy. Okay? And yes, I just called PC gamers PC fanboys. Even though, guess what? I game on PC too. I'm an overall gamer. This kind of stuff to me is just annoying and a headache. Okay? I would rather see people do something productive, like trying to, I don't know, cure cancer, right? Or solve world hunger. Instead, they want to get on here and whine and complain and lie about stuff that they don't know what they're talking about at all. At all. And by the way, just as a heads up, my first gaming system was the original black and white Game Boy. It was actually a Game Boy Pocket, to be specific. It was the second model of the Game Boy Pocket. It took, like 2 or 3 AAA batteries, and I played Superman, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening on it, the Super Return of the Jedi for Star Wars, which was a fun side-scroller at the time. If I would have known what we could have had, had we not had, like, the Dark Ages and stuff like that, I probably wouldn't have been so happy, but, at a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid level, I was happy as a clam in mud. Okay, at that point in time, I was playing on the PlayStation 1 and the N64, and you know what? I was kind of happy with it. Back then, gaming on the PC was not so relevant at that point in time. We're talking about, like, 95. Doom had probably just came, actually, no. That would have been about 97. So Windows 98 probably just came out, right? By the time I was gaming. Okay? Like, that's how far back we're talking here on the gaming spectrum. As far as that's concerned, I'm a fossil. So, bear in mind that I am literally the definition of a fossil when it comes to gaming. But this kind of stuff irritates me because as someone who grew up on gaming consoles, but also enjoys PC games, and is just predominantly just calls himself a gamer, and moreover, and to the point, not just in the case of video games, I play trading card games still. I'm in my 30s and I collect Yu-Gi-Oh cards like they're baseball cards. Me and my fiance play Yu-Gi-Oh from time to time. We have tried to play Magic the Gathering. We have tried to do just two-person D&D, which is not that easy. You know, if you know, you know. It is easy if you know how to do it right, which neither of us do. But here's my point. Like, as someone who just enjoys games, right down to going back and playing Monopoly with my kid, this stuff is just so dumb. It is so dumb. It is dumb. It is dumb. And if you zoom out and look at it like big picture, right? Alright, let's go big picture mode for a minute. And by big picture, I mean like universal scale big. Okay? We have black holes, meteor strikes, you know. You name it, you got it, right? On that particular scale, does this matter? Not even in the least bit. This is not even joke-worthy. It's just a distraction, annoying, and doesn't need to happen. It's only happening because idiots get on Twitter and think they know what they're talking about. There you go. There you go. Which, by the way, going back to the universal scale for a minute of planets colliding with each other, black holes, meteor strikes, you know, the usual suspects out in space, right? Zooming out to that level, we're talking about, and this is how dumb this is, you're talking about users of a platform that, as far as physicality goes, amounts to literally a bunch of numbers set in a specific order to create programming language that technically, in a physical sense outside of that, has zero bearing on the real world with the exception of the amount of money and research that gets dumped into it. Okay? It's literally just a money pit. That 100%, unless you're a streamer, a game developer, or otherwise making money on these products, it's a money pit. It's like buying a boat. All you do is just drop more money into it, right? And boat owners know what I'm talking about here. Okay? So, on the universal scale, gaming is effectively a net neutral, distractive, stupid thing that we do to pass time effectively and dump money into. Unless you're in the industry, one of the industries that I previously mentioned, streaming, making walkthroughs for a living, or you're a games journalist, or you're a game developer, or someone connected to game development and are actively getting paid for one of those things, right? Anything outside of that, you're not. It's doing nothing for you except giving you a dopamine hit in your head. That's about it, and wasting some time because maybe you have the time to kill. So then we zoom in. We have to zoom in an extra level beyond that to get into the console wars, and then we have to zoom in an extra level beyond that because now they want to talk about the statistics, specific statistics of the console wars. So you're talking about having to zoom in from the universal scale approximately 10 to 20 different times just to get to the point of this particular issue on Twitter, which is happening on a platform that, again, is literally just a place where people can anonymously shitpost about stuff. Largely politics, by the way. And this is the thing that gamers want to focus on. I get it. I get it. As a fat, useless turd myself, I understand it, but at the same time, I don't. I think you're all dumb. Anyone engaging this needs to have their head checked. No, actually, they don't need to have their head checked. They need to be banned from being on social media. They need to be removed from technology in general. They need to pick a religion, and then they need to go to that religious doctrines, whatever, or if they choose atheism, then they need to go see what the atheistic equivalent of that would be. Okay? They need to just go get help. Okay? If this is the thing that you're worried about, then you spent too much time online and with your technology, and you need to disconnect for like a month. Okay? And yeah, hey, I get it. The game that you were hoping would get the Game of the Year award didn't win. That sucks. Does it have a bearing on you personally? Probably not directly, but indirectly in the sense that the studio that you wanted to get the accolades didn't get the accolades, right? It's kind of like your favorite, when you're a kid and your favorite wrestler doesn't win and you don't understand that most of that stuff is scripted anyway. You know, or you didn't get the gift from Santa Claus during, Christmas that you thought you would get, that you were hoping you'd get, that you wrote a letter to Santa Claus to get. I get that, I do. And it is a little different in the fact that you had to actually sink money in some cases into, buying a game, contributing to the market, etc., right? I get that. But grand scheme of things, it's the same principle as not getting your present from Santa Claus, okay? It is pointless and stupid to sit here and whine and complain that, what is it, it's not Astro Boy. I don't even care, really. I forgot what the name of the game was. Aspen said it was, but like, no one cares. Okay, this is like, to be clear. Okay, the original post on this got 6,700-ish engagements on Twitter, right? The guy who wrote this got 47 views. This is how, like, very fringe... This is, like, my YouTube channel levels of fringe, right? Like, this is so far detached, it's just kind of dumb. At the moment he did this, which, according to the timestamp when he did this, he did this video 13 days ago, right? So, that's when he posted it up. I don't think that this data is current, but it's when he took the screenshot, right? So, this was one of the dumber points. Let's see, is this the other one that I was looking for? Okay, so this one was just like an eye roll, kind of whatever. There was a comment attached to this that was pretty funny. 40 million is small for such an old platform. 40 million is concurrent users active at that given moment, which is, to explain this to the knuckle draggers like this Raven moron, I'll make it simple. Concurrent viewers is active users online at that very second. Something that you would be very hard-pressed to get from PlayStation, Xbox, you're never going to get that from Nintendo. These are like proprietary business numbers that in reality Steam doesn't have to tell you. They tell you this out of courtesy. It doesn't mean total downloaded users of Steam. It means online at that moment. Period. So yeah, 40 million is actually pretty impressive for a platform. Which, by the way, I got a newsflash for you. Your PlayStation platform? Yeah, I can play all of your games on the PC too. Even the exclusives. Air quotes. And that's the March 2024 numbers. So, yeah. Yeah, daily active users on Steam as of 2024 are 69 million. Just kind of glossed right over that, didn't you, dummy? It's almost double the concurrent. Moving on. And then this is where, this is where this guy gets, you can tell this guy gets flustered because, he's typing in letters that he doesn't need. Did have a bigger user base in 10 years. See, I know this because I've done it. You're frustrated at the whole conversation, you're typing, you're making mistakes. It's called being panic mad. And you can't type because you're in the wrong, but you're going to try to keep defending your point no matter what. So yeah, this is literally just the epitome of stupidity here. And this Onyx guy actually has a good point too. You're defending companies over here. They are. Basically, this Raven fellow, it's not even that he's a console bro, it's that he's a PlayStation pony. He's mad because he's getting called out on his idiocy, and there you go. So this is so stupid. And looking at some of his the comments from his comment section, yeah, he's right. So here's my take, and I'm gonna wrap this up. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this subject. This just happened across my YouTube feed. Gamers are gamers, and this whole console war thing is the dumbest thing ever. Stop doing it. Okay? There is no point. What's going on here? Oh, it's keyframing me. That's nice. There is 0 point to a console war. Okay? I don't care who the winner or loser is, because it's that in and of itself is pointless and stupid. It is. It's just more headache fuel. And no one gives a shit. Literally no one gives a shit, okay? We're entering the age of gaming where you have everything accessible on PC. You have games like Warframe that are playable on just about every device available to humankind, okay? Pretty soon you'll be able to play it on a toaster. Same thing with Minecraft, Fortnite, and a bunch of other titles that are jumping on this particular trend. Instead of whining and complaining about it, okay? If you're mad because some PC bro stomps you in Call of Duty because you have a lower frame rate, then save up some money and go get some better gear. It's that simple. It really is that simple. I mean, I get it, you like the consoles because you don't have to worry about stuff like drivers and manual updates and all this other stuff, and it's convenient because you don't have to do anything, just hit the play button on a game, and there you go. 9 times out of 10, you're right in it, having fun, right? I understand that. I do, and it's one of the things I like about the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox Series X versus my computer. I don't have to worry about driver updates. But there is a performance metric that my PC has that neither one of my systems have. And that metric is, it's not just a gaming platform. I'm recording this video on the same PC I'm playing Palworld on right now. Okay? And I know, oh, you're not playing Call of Duty, some competitive, yeah, you're not a real You know what I gotta say to that? Yeah, fuck yourself. I'm as much a gamer as anyone else. I've played titles like Final Fantasy 7, 12, 10, the original Final Fantasy games 1 through 6, the good old school Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Link's Awakening, right on back to the first Legend of Zelda game. I don't want to hear it. You're full of crap. Okay, I've even played Breath of the Wild, and I own Tears of the Kingdom, and I play it occasionally. That's kind of, so my Nintendo Switch kind of got relegated to the, I'm not at home, I'm out sitting in the car waiting for someone at like a doctor's appointment kind of thing, because I'm the household driver. I have an elderly relative that we share a house with, and I am effectively the driver for the whole house. So, being a taxi cab means that I basically get to sit there sometimes and do nothing. So, unfortunately, that's where my Switch went. But, back to the big overlying point, I'm an omnivore gamer. I play Minecraft on my PC, Xbox, Switch, tablet, and phone. And if I could play it on a rock, I probably would play it on a rock. I play it in real life, too, if you give me the opportunity. I have most of the tools to go out and do it in real life, actually. And come warmer weather, and if I can get the right property permissions and writing from people, we probably will. So, you know, and we'll probably have the recording equipment to actually record it. But, no, I just, the console wars thing's dumb, needs to stop. It just needs to stop, outright. And I'm not the only one who thinks this either. These people that are on Twitter doing this stuff are, like, the fringe minority of people that are on Twitter discussing extremist arguments in politics, right? They're so far separated from people like me that every time I see a video about it on YouTube, I'm sitting there thinking, oh great, all 10 people who are still talking about this are now having their own little fist fight in Twitter again. Yay. You know? But it's just annoying enough because I see it a lot on YouTube, and it's really more YouTube's fault that I'm even doing a video about this. Because if the algorithm didn't actually promote this, I probably wouldn't even be talking about it. You know, go watch Joe from Seattle stuff. He's got a good point about, you know, PC versus consoles, and he is right. And, you know, there's a conversation to be had about people like me. I know for a fact I'm not in the majority here. I am a massive gaming nerd. Alright? In fact, if I had my way of it, excuse me, if I didn't have to record things to try to build up my YouTube channel, that reeks. That's because we had a special dinner last night, and yeah, stuff. And excuse me again. Here's the thing. This doesn't matter to people like me, okay? What I care about is what's the next new big, good title, emphasis on the word good title that's coming out, you know? What's the next new Power World? What's the next new Craftopia? What's the next new original 360 version of Modern Warfare 2? What's the next new Gears of War style game? What's the next big thing that everyone's going to enjoy, not dog crap on? Because don't misunderstand me. We've had some pretty good games come out, okay? Power World is an example of that, actually. This year, this previous year, okay? But, and I'm going to kind of drag some of my favorite YouTube creators and YouTube's algorithm a little bit here. I feel like, and this is just my opinion, this is not, you know, I don't have the statistics to actually back this up. I feel like I see more on the negative end of the spectrum than on the positive end of the spectrum, right? Like, it's good to talk about the bad things, don't misunderstand me. You don't fix the bad things in the gaming industry unless people are actively discussing it. So I'm glad that people are calling these things out. On the other hand, I feel like we've kind of hit a point where I see so much on this side, I don't get hardly anything on this, right? So I'm getting more negative than positive. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with discussing industry trends and trying to fix the bad, but I don't see enough praising the good, right? And as much as I would love, that was sarcasm, to become a games journalist and try to praise the good, not a journalist. I'm a guy on the internet with a camera playing video games. That's me in a nutshell. I react to things that drive me nuts that I see in my favorite hobby and industry and give my take on things, like fat dude on the internet here, you know? And my fat dude on the internet perspective is that the console wars are pointless and stupid. Why are we having arguments over who does what better when we should be arguing over what game can we make better? Okay. How can we make a game like Concord good without it being a DI nightmare? How can we make a game like Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League not suck? You know, these are productive negative conversations, right? It's constructive criticism, in my opinion. The console war thing is fruitless and dumb. It serves no purpose, just to divide the community. And I don't think anyone should give it any amount of credence at all. At all. No. As far as performance metrics goes, the fact that we are able to have viable virtual reality at this point in time tells me right now that performance technology is just where it needs to be for where we're at in this timeline. And I don't think that we should be having that discussion. I think we need to be having a discussion about what games we think should be out there. Me personally, my take, I want the Catholic Church to do me a favor. Okay? I want the Dead Sea Scrolls, as they were written and translated into English, right, for the Bible. And I want the most graphic, like, if you gotta go adult-only rating on this one, do it, right? I want the most graphic, gritty, accurate to what they say. And I want it as a video game. I want the graphics on that thing to be like Crysis was back in the about 2010s. Okay, I think I have the time frame right on that. We'll be safe. 2013. I want those graphics to just sing every word of that Bible. Okay, right down to the letter. Nothing held back. You know, put the proverbs and stuff on little tablets that you can collect. Have the people actually singing the psalms and all this stuff. I want it to be literally as gritty as it can be. I want to see David's friggin' rock knock Goliath on his butt, and then I want to see him get decapitated, okay? I want to see the lions tearing up a prisoner before Daniel gets put in the lion's den. I want to watch every second of that nail enter Jesus' friggin' wrist. I want to watch it to the letter. I want it to be as graphic as possible. I want it to be so graphic that it makes the Passion of the Christ look like a kid's cartoon. Okay? I want every little detail. You want to do something good, Catholic Church, for the gaming industry, make a video game that does all those things that I mentioned and go right up to the rapture. And then when you get to that point, stop. And then after the rapture, turn it into a GTA-style game where you literally have to survive in that world. And I guarantee you, you would probably have the single most best-selling video game that was religiously based ever made. And none of this, oh, well, they went back in time, and no, none of that. No, that's garbage. Keep it out of there. You're wasting space and wasting time. Alright? You get to play as David, Daniel, make a bad guy end of it where you get to play as King Saul or Goliath, or one of the sinners that got killed during the flood. You know, that. Make a talking simulator in the Garden of Eden where you're the snake, and you have to convince Eve to eat the apple. Okay? That kind of stuff. Don't just go with the good guys. Oh, no. I want the bad guy's perspective. I want the guy that's serving them their equivalent of tea and hookah fuel way back in the day. I want their perspective. I want the whole kit and caboodle. I guarantee you, you make a game that's that biblically accurate, you will be the #1 biblically selling anything on the planet. But that's my advice to the Catholic Church. They'll never listen because they don't like gaming as a whole. I have a feeling, which is kind of dumb, because it's a massive opportunity for them to actually express their religion. And it doesn't have to be in every single game. Just like 5, 10, maybe 15 titles overall, right? And they're just like, they're the stories of the individuals to the letter. Adam and Eve, Noah, Moses, Job. Oh god, Job would probably be the one that might be a little too graphic for even video games. Maybe. I'm not sure, but you know, that's a conversation to have. Well, I say that because a lot of the stuff that Job went through was just kind of like Dead Space level horrific kind of thing. Like having that in first person view where your character looks at their arms and you can see the flesh being eaten away is just kind of not. It's just not. Yeah. That story might maybe a little too much. Maybe. But it's just, it does raise the point though. I have a problem with game developers who constantly want to play it safe. And they do it not because they have a creative, moral, whatever. It's because they're worried about what the investors are going to say. Look, I get it. Game development takes money. Even if you're doing RPG Maker stuff, you still have to pay for the software, right? I understand this stuff. I'm not dense enough to think that it's all free. Okay? Because even if you did want to go the freeware route, you'd still end up programming and doing just about everything yourself. So that's a massive time investment, if not financially, right? So either way, you're still investing important resources into doing this thing. So I understand where they're coming from. The problem is that they're playing it too safe. And we don't care about some of the stuff that they're trying to push, you know? I don't care if my main character is black. Do they have good one-liners, and is the story good? You know, in the case of single-player games, in the case of multiplayer games, is the gameplay fluid, or am I getting lag every 2 seconds that I'm trying to walk down a hallway, and then getting my head shot off by someone who happens to live closer to the server because you're not optimized for fair play amongst all the players? You know, these are important gameplay elements to the different types of games. That's more important to us as gamers. It's something that's driven me nuts about this whole culture war bull BS, right? Is that it doesn't matter in the context of game. Okay, morally as a Christian, that's kind of fuzzy, but actually, at that point, it doesn't matter either, because some of the stuff that one side is fighting for is against the faith, and the other side is also against the faith on other things. So you're just kind of like, neither one of these people have a point that I can stand with, right? So you kind of just have to make your own point to stand on. Which is effectively, I don't care, just keep the kids out of it, basically. And that's more or less the Christian worldview of it. Do what you want to do at home, but leave my kids out of it. Ta-da! Problem solved. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. As a parent, you have a responsibility as a parent to tell your children that no, they cannot go to this person's house, but they can go to this person's house. Okay? That's called being a good parent. No, I'm not going to let my kid go off to the porn-addicted wacko down the road and spend the night at his house. Duh. No, I'm not going to let my kid go into the household of the degenerate who I literally have to put blackout curtains in a window to make sure that they don't see the freaky stuff that they're doing with their partner, even though they're a straight couple. Duh, my kid's not going there. You know, it's called being a good parent. And in the case of how it relates to console wars, it's also called being a smart person and doing what you need to do, which, to be fair, Joe in Seattle and Asmongold, the best thing you can do about this stuff is ignore it. Don't fuel the fire, just let the under 10% minority that's arguing and screaming at each other, let them go scream at each other. Go play another Crab's Treasure and have some fun. You know, or World of Warcraft, or whatever it is that you like to do. That's what I'm doing. Well, right now I'm kind of starving my character. Thank God that she's not set up to die from starvation. But, you know, I actually am going to be setting up a couple more bases on the game today. I need to go do right now. So, if y'all like the content and agree with me, leave a comment, a like, and a subscribe. I'd appreciate it. I know I got a little offensive. I went extremely offensive and vulgar on some of it, but I do have my issues with a lot of this stuff. It is dumb. It's like the guy who's cooking in the kitchen and cuts his thumb off and then proceeds to cut the rest of his hand off without, you know, without realizing that he's sacrificing parts of his own body to try to do something that he obviously doesn't know what he's doing. It's the same idea. You know, we got gamers fighting with gamers over who has the better numbers for a company. Shut up and go play a video game. No one cares.